How do you love when people are actively trying to destroy you? How do you remember that we're all one and that to think something wrong about them or to wish hurtful or evil things on them only pushes those same things on you? How do you control your mental state so that no outside force can pull you into a lower vibration? That's what I want to talk about in this video. And to be honest with you, I've dealt a lot with this because for most of my life, I felt like I was misunderstood. And for better or worse, I've had troubling interactions with people, not due to any personal ill feelings towards a particular individual. But for whatever reason, I may find a particular situation, this particular person doesn't like me, or maybe I've done something to offend someone or hurt someone and they're trying to get back at me. But there was a time when I would always try to get mine. If somebody hurt me, I would hold on to it for a very, very long time, and I could hold on to it forever until I saw how much it was hurting me to hold on to all that I was holding on to. Because holding on to all that I was holding on to meant that I couldn't do some of the things that I needed to. Because the things I was holding on to crafted an identity for me. And the identity that it crafted for me wasn't one that was courageous or outgoing or anything like that. It was one that basically had me drowning in thoughts and experiences that didn't uplift me. And when I stumbled onto the esoteric information that I study that teaches things like we're all one, there is one source, one consciousness, and we're all at individuated aspects of it. And for a lot of us, we don't know that. And for a lot of our lives, we didn't know that about ourselves. When you come to this understanding, it's not like all of those feelings suddenly just fall away. It's not like when you're in a situation that's trying or challenging to you that you can suddenly flip this switch, God mode, and you don't have any bad feelings or bad emotions bubbling under the surface, So how do you show love when a person is actively trying to hurt you? How do you show love when people, places, situations appear to be lined up against you? Here's what's worked for me: shifting my perspective. And I'll put it like this. When we're in the process of manifesting something that we really, really want, that seems really out of reach, or our present situation seems very far from that timeline, lifeline, whatever it is, however it is that you visualize how it is that we traverse from our reality to that ideal reality. When you're traversing, or when you're creating your world, if you tell someone your dream, you're likely to come off as delusional. You're likely to come off as someone who is crazy, it's not realistic, it's full of themselves, arrogant, egotistical. There's tons of names that we give to people who think of themselves differently from what reality presents. Tons of words that we use to keep people caged up mentally. But when you're creating your reality, or when you're trying to bring something that you want into your life, it could be something simple as a parking space, a cup of coffee, a car that you want, something that you want, the world that you want. You're delusional. You'll have to be able to look at this world around you and say this world is nothing. The world inside of your head is the real world. I think it's the same principle when we're dealing with the situations where around you perceive hate. Because if we're honest about our belief that we're all one, there can't be any hate around you. It's impossible. We're in a sea of unconditional love. So it doesn't matter what someone has done. It doesn't matter what the situation or circumstance is. If there's nothing that you can do, then if there's nothing that you can do in your reality, and like in this physical 3D, then you remember that you're not just this 3D. You change it up here. You play the events how you'd like to see them. And then you polarize to whatever emotion you need to just ride out that wave of negativity, that wave of thought forms. The emotion will pass. And when the emotion passes, that doesn't mean that suddenly your situation changes. It doesn't mean that suddenly someone isn't attacking you if that's what you're going through. Or it doesn't mean that the troubling circumstances that you had aren't still troubling to you. No, that's not what it means. But it means that you understand that it's not real. Love is. It's only real if you accept it as real. And if it's threatening your livelihood or your ability to work, your ability to provide for your family, your ability to have a shelter, it can be tough. If it's hurting your ego, crushing your pride, it can be tough. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. Now, we talk about having faith and taking action in terms of trying to create an ideal reality. In these situations, when you're dealing with the perception of hate outside of you, you've got gotta stay focused. You gotta stay focused. If you can't look at the situation and not feel polarized to that negative emotion, then you've got to stay focused on something that takes your attention away from that. We're always creating. And I'm not telling you to bottle up your emotions or anything like that. If you need professional help, seek professional help. You can recognize the emotion. You don't have to send negative thought forms. You don't have to send hate. You don't have to return it. You don't have to go tit for tat. You can create your reality. There is no power outside of you that is greater than the God that lives within you. I hope something that I said today resonated with you. If so, feel free to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I love you. I want to see the fullest expression of you. This is The Spark.